Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dazz, and today we're going to cover the best tips to help you improve and rank up on Apex Legends. Let's start with something simple. Number 1, you need to fight. Now every pro always says to fight, but we're going to give you more context on why they say this and what it means. From rookie to mid-platinum, your goal is to engage and learn from mistakes to fight. As you get higher rankings, Diamond Plus, it is assumed you can aim and fight. If you miss out on these fundamentals on fighting early on, you won't be confident in high ranks at all, because in higher ranks, you're not exactly fighting teams, but fighting for what the best spot is on the map. So you might be more selective when you fight in the higher ranks. As a reminder, what this biggest tip is providing to you is to improve the fundamentals of aim and how to fight. Now, let's tackle the next part of this question in the second tip. How do you fight? In ranked, you need to actually get to the fight to either clutch out or make a mistake. It's okay to make mistakes. So when pros say go fight, what they're trying to tell you is get to the encounter so you can make an informed decision of how to play. Of course, if you're playing looting simulator the whole time, you may not actually get to fight. So go fight so you learn how to do that. Also getting rid of the anxiety and pressure of actually fighting. What you will then learn once you get into the fight is how is your positioning, finding damage openings, and paying attention to your teammates to find strong angles to fight from. Sometimes players take go fight too literally, and they go fight, but they forget about positioning. Positioning is key to improve. Number 3, when do you fight? Now let us answer when do you fight. This is your checklist to success. Now what erases this list is if you're a platinum or below, I would probably say low platinum, we go with tip number 1 and 2 to fight. Just stay in it and learn it. As you rank up, this no longer becomes viable as everyone will know how to fight. So let us cover this quick checklist on when do you fight. Number 1 here, did you do substantial damage? If so, you can now cover ground or secure that knock. Next up, are you fighting outside the zone? If so, you may end up getting gated if this is the case because the fight took too long. Now, if we talk about the fight taking too long, did that fight take too long? If so, assume you're going to get third-partied. Now, next up, do you have the resources? Sometimes you may intend to fight to get the resources, but if you don't have enough ammo or heals, you're not going to last very long. I'm talking like less than a stack of ammo or 2 cells, which is going to be pretty rough to win that encounter. Next up, how many teams remain? How many teams could be nearby? If there are 20 squads and the first zone is closed, you assume you're going to get third-partied. And lastly, how long has the fight lasted? Long fights can be multiple teams and a dogpile on the server, so best to try to avoid that. Tip number 4, utilize legend utility. In ranked, your legend abilities are key to your success. If you have rotational tools, use them to get in and out of fights. You're a controller legend? Well, time to hunker down and anchor for your team, be that linebacker. Recon legend? Provide that intel for your team. If you feel like your abilities are not being used at all, this is a major area of focus, or try another legend that can provide useful utility that you feel comfortable with. Tip number 5, stop stressing about your main. Focus first on enjoying the game, and you can literally get to masters with any legend. Now with tip number 4, if you feel like you're not using any of your legend utility that they have to offer, you may indeed have more fun on another legend because you can actually use the legend utility properly. But seriously, stop stressing, have fun, and pick who you vibe with most so you can improve. Tip number 6, stop blaming others. Let's say your teammate goes out of the fight early. You can always back out of the fight or even use them as bait to gain an advantage in the fight. You can even use their knockdown. Now, it is never fun to have a bad teammate, but sometimes these things can be the reasons why you can win. Maybe their slower pacing will avoid bad fights. Perhaps you can use them as bait like we mentioned earlier to clutch out. Look internally how you can improve and minimize your losses. It's never ideal to have a bad teammate, but to gain RP in ranked, you need to be skilled enough to minimize losses and figure out how to make bad situations into good ones. Tip number 7, be positive and with an improvement mentality. Losing RP can be very tough on the mental side, even for the most skilled players, but sometimes you gotta learn to step away from the game. If you refuse to get off, there's always a mixtape to get the vibes back. So go chill, relax. Negativity blocks the ability to learn and distracts you from areas you can improve in. Tip number 8, learn the map. This one seems very basic, but it shocks me how much people don't do this, especially with the maps rotating every 24 hours. You really have to know all the maps, their ins and outs, how to rotate. So if we talk about the key points, where can you rotate through safely? Where is good drop-off loot? Crafters, beacons, more. This will impact where and how you land and how you take fights because you need the better positioning. So tip number 9 is be definitive. If you make a decision, be bold in that decision, win or lose. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake or lose. If you don't make a decision at all, you're never going to learn. Your actions all need to have purpose. Many times in coaching, I get asked a team what their next move is and they have no earthly idea. In fact, they are unsure what their current goal and objective is. Some simple goals are know what POI you want to move to or the ideal spot you want to hold. Learn if you intend to fight or loot quickly. If you waver in making strong decisions, you're going to struggle even if you win. You don't want your win to be a happy accident. You want to be in control of why you won. That way, when you win, it's going to feel a lot more satisfying because you were the driving force behind it. Tip number 10, have fun. Ranking, unfortunately, is going to be a massive time sink. Like in any video game, and Apex Legends is no different. Sometimes you may be meant to be a higher rank, maybe Diamond, maybe Masters, but timing gets the best of you. You're ranking for a reason that is to have fun and showcase that you have skill, but it also requires a lot of patience. As you improve, your wall is going to shift, meaning where you tend to improve, maybe your wall is your aim for that day, or maybe it's your positioning, but you take all those baby steps, and maybe you take a few steps back, but then you take 10 steps forward. Again, patience. As you improve, it's only natural to get that sense of progression. It's just never going to end. There's always going to be something that you can fix and improve upon. If you found these tips helpful, if you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys all in the next video.